I'm sure you've heard the phrase, what you don't know can hurt you. Well, when it comes to book writing, what you don't know about editing can cost you. So in this video, I'm going to simplify the world of manuscript editing and share with you why what you don't know about editing can cost you. Welcome to Writing with Denise Renee. You are in the right place to learn how to write a book that connects you to your ideal audience, your future clients, collaborators, and other brand building opportunities. If this is your vibe, then you've got to subscribe. Now, let's get right into this video's topic. Hey writers! In this video, I'm going to share with you, number one, what is editing and why you need it. Number two, what are the different types of editing? Number three, why editing mistakes can be costly. And number four, I'm going to share tips for finding the best editor for you and your project. And now these tips are going to apply whether you are going to be traditionally published or self-published. So it's very important that if you plan on writing a book, you want to listen up. So if this is your first time coming across one of my videos, my name is Denise Renee, and baby, hey, I am your new favorite business book writing coach and manuscript editor in all of the interwebs, honey. I can help you write a book sharing your expertise or experiences that helps you grow your business or personal brand. So the inspiration for this video comes from the plethora of people that I have spoken to who want to write a book, as well as prospects and clients that I've wound up working with who have basically either displayed a lack of understanding of editing and people who have made mistakes from not getting the right type of editing, not understanding what they were purchasing and what they needed, not even understanding where their manuscript was when they turned it over to an editor. And again, not understanding what that editor was there to do, what they were providing. And, it depends on how you're coming to book publishing. If you were given an offer and you are working with a traditional publisher, and they are very likely taking care of the editing for you. You just have to focus on writing, and they're going to take care of the editing, preparing the book for publishing, and some of the marketing. Nowadays, you're going to have to still do your own marketing because they're not giving up budgets like that. But nevertheless, you don't really have to stress out about that because it's all baked into the whole publishing deal. But if you are a self-published author, and especially if you're a first-time author, baby, there's a lot to learn. You just don't know what you don't know. And even when you sit down and you read all of the things, you watch all of the videos, you still just don't know until you get in there and you just get some experience and you just do the daggone thing and you see how things work out. Now, I'm not trying to fearmonger or scare you or anything like that in this video. Really, I just want to help. Okay, I just want to share with you some information so that you can make the best decision for you and your book. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, the biggest mistake I see self-published authors making is that they're paying for proofreading when their book needed editing. Wait, say what? Proofreading and editing? No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm going to break down what editing is. And we're going to get into the different types of editing and all of the other fun stuff that I promised at the beginning of the video. So let's go. So number one, what is editing and why do you need it? Real quick, don't just watch this video about writing a book. Get working on yours today. Head over to writingwithdeniserenee.com/4steps and download my free guide, 4 Steps to Start Writing Your Book. In it, you're going to find practical tips and exercises that'll get you moving right now and keep you going until you finish your first draft. That's writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps. Okay, let's get back into this video. So number one, what is editing and why do you need it? So this is a little definition that I pulled together from a bunch of different sources. Editing is revising stylistic choices and connecting, if I can read, you know what? Hang on. Child. It's like that, child. All right. Oh, hey, look at that. All right. So editing is revising stylistic choices and correcting language usage errors in a document or manuscript. Look how smoothly that went. Editing seeks to provide clarity for a broad section of readers by addressing the content's structure, flow, word choices, readability, and grammar. All right. So you need all of the above. And no, proofreading is not editing, and we will see why in just a little bit. So the thing is that why you need editing is because it's like an insurance policy. You wouldn't go buying a car and not get insurance on it. Well, actually, you kind of have to get insurance. Okay. But anyway, but some people do get cars and don't get insurance, child. We won't get into that subject. But anyhow, it's your insurance policy. Okay. You get my point. You want to make sure that your book makes the perfect first impression. You do not want to have grammatical errors. You do not want your book to be so unreadable that people just can't follow your thoughts. It's an unpleasant experience for your readers. They're not going to finish your book. They're not going to recommend it. And they're not going to trust you. On period. Unfortunately, when it comes to books, people judge by the cover and the content. Okay. So you want to make sure you're making a great first impression, because once that impression is made, whether good or bad, you cannot take it back. All right. So, number two, what are the different types of editing? So I want to say that this is something that I wrote and developed, and it's on my website, and you can take a look at it anytime you need to, 100% for free. There's no paywall at writingwithdenisebrenee.com/editing. So that could be a great resource for you to refer to anytime you need it. So I'm going to kind of work in a hierarchy and work from top to bottom. And by top to bottom, I mean these are the types of editing you may want to consider first, second, and then third. So the first type of editing is, child, I now know better. Let's just make this a little. I can see clearly now the rain is gone, or the snow is gone. Child, got a snow day here in the metro Atlanta area. I don't even want to talk about it, child. But anyway. All right, so developmental or structural editing. This is going to be the top level or top tier of editing. So, structural editing, also known as developmental editing, addresses the foundation of your manuscript. Okay, your editor will help you to enhance the structure and content of your book to optimize your reader's experience. Issues that are addressed in nonfiction manuscripts include, but are not limited to, the book's intended audience, what your readers will get from your book's big idea and thesis, the supporting points, chapter organization and chapter structure, and a little bit of tone and voice. If you want to know what developmental editing looks like for fiction books, just read the rest of it on my website. So that is it. That is the big structure. And I'll say also here that this is kind of where book writing coaching comes in. And I'll tell you that this is my personal realm of genius. I love to developmental edit. I love helping you get clear. I love helping you get that outline together. Baby, my mind just works that way. And it's so important to have a very clear idea about your book and about the content and the focus of your book from the jump. You have to be you really have to be well versed, a well practiced writer to just sit down, start writing, and wait for things to just form together on the page or on your computer screen. It doesn't work. I mean, you see that kind of process romanticized in Hollywood and TV shows and things like that, but it doesn't always come together like that for everyone if you are not a well practiced writer. For me, it does because I've been writing for over 40 years. Like seriously writing. Like I've been writing short stories and poems and all kinds of stuff since I was about 9, 10 years old. At this point, I have such a well ingrained writing process that you could give me a topic, give me a prompt, and I could probably start writing something about it instantly. And my mind is already thinking and formulating and organizing because I've done this so much. It's not a flex, it's just a fact. And not everybody has been writing for that long. Not everybody has a well ingrained writing process. And in case you need help with developing a writing process, check this video out. I'll link it down in the description below. So, for most people, they're going to benefit from thinking through your content and creating an outline and working from an outline. And just because you have an outline, it doesn't mean that you can't go off script or that you can't add more. But the thing is at least you have some place to start with. It's kind of like trying to get around traffic in Atlanta. You know your starting point, you know where you want to go, you have a particular route to get there. But then halfway there, baby, you coming up on that junction from 85 and 285, and Wade says, baby, you best to get off at this local exit and go around this traffic. You may take a little detour, but ultimately you still know where it is that you want to go. Okay? All right. Okay. So speaking of where we're going, let's get into the second editing type. And this is real editing here. This is real stuff. All right. It is line editing, also known as copy editing. So this is where an editor goes through your words line by line to make sure that your text shines, baby. Just like the little, rhinestone action we got going here on these glasses. All right. So your editing process requires at least one round of line editing. However, the price can increase the more rounds you perform. So if you go through a whole round of editing and you're like, okay, cool. And then you go back, you make tweaks, you change this and that, and you make some more revisions. You need another round of line editing. Okay. So you may not want to employ that a little too soon because this is going to rack up. And we're going to talk prices in a little bit. So you'll understand what I mean, child. All right. So, however, the price can increase the more rounds you perform. You should have another round conducted after every major rewrite or revision to your manuscript. All right. Because you just need it. A line editor will give you a thorough line by line analysis of your manuscript. Your editor will be on the hunt to check your word choices, to check for grammar usage and diction, to check for redundancy, to seek opportunities to be concise. I know I have a tendency to be a verbose type of writer. Those are my first drafts, and then I shorten and shrink as we go along. They're going to be seeking to improve readability and to ensure consistency and agreement. Verb tense agreement. Also, like I remember what actually my client here, for this book, if you're looking for a good novel, Affairs to Remember by Raina Sun. Fantastic. Oh my God, I'm such a fan of this story. But anyhow, I remember in earlier drafts, we were having a little bit of timeline issue, just like, oh, okay, hold on. Hello. You said this over here, but then you said this over here. Which one is it? All right. So a great line editor and a great developmental editor will catch those kinds of things. Clock it. All right. So let's put her back. Okay. All right. That's my little some of my client books over there. I'm missing a few. Anyhow, so that is line and developmental editing. And then we get to the type of editing that people, which is technically not editing, but it's what people know the most. It's also the cheapest type of editing. So people think that, oh, I got proofreading and boom, my book is ready to go. Yes and no. So this is what proofreading is. Proofreading is the form of editing that everybody knows, as I said. It's the final stage of perfecting your manuscript. And this should happen after line editing is complete. So you've done all revisions, you've done all rewrites, you've gotten that line editing done. Now the proofreader, preferably a separate person from your line editor, they're going to go in and they're not going to make any more changes to your words. Your words will pretty much stay as is. What they're looking for is punctuation. They're going to be looking for spelling mistakes and typographical errors and common homophone misusage. So two, and two, things like that. And just making sure you have basic grammar usage down. They're not going to change anything else. It's just these little imperfections. They're looking for that and they're going to say, check, it's good to go. Once you have completed your proofreading, then your book is ready to go off to the formatter. Or if you're doing your own formatting, that means that's when you're, lining it up for whatever software, who you're ever going to upload it to. They're going to line it up, make it pretty, put in your graphics, all those kinds of things, and it's ready to go to print. Okay, so proofreading is the very last thing that needs to be done. So I'm giving a masterclass here. Okay, all right, all right. Now, if you're learning something from my masterclass, then I would love for you to put in the comments masterclass. All right, so that I know you're getting a lot of value out of this. And while you're down there in the comments, baby, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that YouTube can recommend more of my masterclass videos for you, baby. Okay? All right. Listen, we're going to get this book done this year. Next year, I'm here for you. So you want to keep getting this good information. All right. And you know what? You might need even more help with getting started writing your book. So, baby, I got you. So let's talk about topic number 3 here for this video, why editing mistakes can be costly. So like I said earlier, the biggest mistake that I see new self-published authors make is to get proofreading way before time when they really needed line editing. And sometimes, baby, they need some developmental editing too. The reality is editing isn't cheap. Most people tend to price per word. Some people price per page, but it roughly kind of ends up the same. The more popular and in demand your editor is, then you may see higher prices. But a good middle ground kind of pricing here is, let's say you have a 50,000 word book. It's not uncommon to see line editing at around 2 or 3 cents per word. So if your 50,000 word book gets line edited at 2 cents per word, that's $1,000 right there. Now, proofreading can be as low as half a cent or sometimes 1 cent, maybe sometimes 2 cents a word. So even proofreading at the lowest rate of half a cent a word, that 50,000 word book is going to be $250. So just one round of line editing and your proofreading, that's $1,250 right there. And if you're doing multiple rounds of line editing, you can see how this can start to rack up. And you can also see how if someone goes on Fiverr.com, and no disrespect to anyone on Fiverr, but because you can really get some really good freelancers on there. But if you go to Fiverr.com and you're like, oh, well, somebody's gonna proofread my book for $100. Great, my editing is done. No, okay. They're not, I just told you what proofreaders are gonna do. They're just gonna go through and check for grammar. They're not gonna come back and tell you, oh, well, this really didn't make much sense or whatever. That's not their job. You ain't paying them enough to do that. All right. You need a line editor, or better still, you need a developmental editor. They're going to tell you, or I should say, let me speak for myself. I definitely take what my clients tell me at the beginning. Hey, this is what this book is about. And then I look at the words on the page and I compare it to, well, you said this book is about ABC. What I see on the page is L, M, and N. Is that what you really want? Do we really need to change the focus of the book? Or do we need to change the content? What are we doing? Okay, that decision isn't mine, but I'm there to help point it out to you so that you can make the right decision for your book. So, based on all this information, I hope it's abundantly clear. You don't want to pay for the wrong type of editing at the wrong time. You also don't want to invest in line editing too early, because if you're like, you wrote your first draft, you may not want to line edit immediately. You might want to let that draft rest a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long, whatever your process is. Go back to it. You may want to also get beta readers involved at this point. These are trusted people in your circle, in your network, who can read and give you feedback and say, hey, I see this, I don't see that. And you can compare what feedback they're giving you and make sure that what they're reading, what they're seeing on the page is exactly what you intended to share. You may need to go back, take their feedback, rewrite, revise. You may wind up trashing the whole thing and starting again. So don't be too quick to get into line editing, but don't be too slow either, because you don't want to just spend money. So if you find yourself investing in proofreading too early, you're going to have to go back and spend money on line editing. If you're used to looking At Fiverr, for the cheapest providers, you're going to get sticker shock when it comes to line editing. If you go ahead and put that book out and it's only been proofread, and then you're starting to get feedback from people, they're seeing different errors, or they're seeing things, or they're not really understanding what you're saying or anything like that, that's going to cost you your reputation. You can pull that book back and go ahead and re-edit and revise or reissue the book, but the people that have already bought it, it's hard to take that impression that you left back. So editing can be costly because of the nature of the beast, but also editing mistakes are highly costly, not only in the amount of time that it can take, the money that it can cost, but it can also cost you your reputation if you've already put something out there. And we don't want that. We're not about wasting money up in here. Okay. All right. And then number 4, let's talk about giving you some tips for finding the best editor for you and your project. All right, baby. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to seek out and interview editors early in your book writing process. Even if you're just like, I'm thinking about writing a book. You know what? Scroll the TikTok now that it's back. Scroll the Instagram. Scroll the YouTube. Actually, don't scroll. You know what? Scroll the Instagram. Scroll the TikTok, because I ain't over there. But if you scroll at YouTube, baby, you better stop. Okay, you have stopped on my videos, so there's no more scrolling. I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. Listen, I am not the only person. I am not everybody's cup of water, honey. All right, because I always got a cute cup of water nearby. I am not everybody's cup of water. And it's okay. I'm not trying to service everybody. I don't need everybody. You only need a handful of clients per year, and I'm good. All right. So interview and try to at least interview 3 different people. You want to have more than one editor kind of like on tap, because everybody's schedule gets busy. It gets different. You just never know. You want to be able to get on someone's radar early and figure out like what their time frame is, and try to match up your time frame with their time frame as best as that can happen. You do not want to catch yourself scrambling last minute for an editor, because when you're scrambling, that is a big opportunity for mistakes to be made, choose the wrong person, get the wrong thing done, and then in the end, it winds up costing you more money. And again, we're not about that waste money life, okay? All right. So you want to make sure that your editor has experience with the genre or the style of book that you are working on. You can ask for a sample edit. I do that for people. And make sure that they are passing the vibe check, okay? I know I passed your vibe check. That's why you're still watching. All right. But no, it's more than just, how the person communicates and makes you feel, but it's really about, can you communicate with this person? Are they listening to you? Are they hearing what you're saying? Do you feel like they understand what you are about and what your book is about? Do you respect their opinion? Do you like talking to them and spending time with them? Because a book project can be, sometimes some book projects are very quick, others are a little bit longer. So you're going to be really spending some time with this person, whether in person or virtually. So you want to make sure that, y'all vibing, but also you want to make sure your communication is on point, and that they really, you really have a good sense that they understand you, and they understand your project, they understand your style, and they have something to contribute and something to say. And here's what I would say for you. Please be ready to trust the process. Be ready to receive feedback that might be hard to hear, and be ready for change. You may have to change your document. You're going to change through this whole writing process. There is no process that we undergo as humans that doesn't leave us the same way that we came in. We're always going to change. So be open, be ready to hear what your editor has to say. Don't put up a fight. If you already trust their opinion and they say something that hits you emotionally, check in with that. And again, this is where also having beta readers and other outside readers of your book can help give you a broader perspective. Your editor is going to give you a professional perspective. Your beta readers are going to give you kind of like that grassroots perspective. And if you pick them well, they should be a good representation of the types of readers that are going to read your book. And you need that feedback before you put that book out. So that's my masterclass on editing and how to make sure you maximize your time, your budget, and your effort. Now, I've got more content for you to help you with your business book writing journey. So I want you to go ahead and check out one of these videos next because it's going to take you even further than what I've taken you in this video. So go ahead, click that video. I'm gonna see you on the other side. Now come on. Now, what you waiting for? You know, you always be hanging out at the end of the video, waiting for something. Go ahead and click the link. I'll be right over there.